Alright, so let's have a closer look on some of the examples of direct variation. So we mentioned last time about hourly wages. So hourly wages are common to part-time workers. Their salary is dependent on the amount of time that they work. So we say that employee salary varies directly as the number of hours worked. Why hourly wages satisfies this property of direct variation. That is, if one variable increases, then the other variable also increases. If one variable decreases, then the other variable also decreases. So in this example, the more hours will be given to an employee to work, then the higher salary they're going to get during payday. But if only limited amount of time will be given to the employee to work, then of course expect that their salary will be fewer compared to if they work with more hours. An employee earns money at a certain constant rate. The salary of the employee earns varies with time. Suppose an employee earns money at a rate of $8 per hour. So an employee's salary varies directly as the number of hours worked. For the simplicity of our discussion, we are not going to include the tax rate or any deductions that will be given to the employee. So for the first hour, the employee is going to get $8. For 2 hours, the employee is going to receive $16. For 3 hours, the employee is going to receive $24. And of course, if the employee is going to work for 4 hours, then that employee is going to receive $32. Now, what if the employee will not work, let's say 0 hour? Will the employee get something? Of course, because the employee is being paid per hour. If that employee is not going to work, then he will get, or that employee will get $0. So let's write this information in a table. For no work at all, if the employee will not work, then salary will be 0. 1 hour of work, that's $8. 2 hours of work, that will be $16. And 3 hours of work, it will be $24. Now let's take this table and use the given as points so that we can graph this relationship. So for 0 hour, salary will be 0. For the first hour, salary will be $8. For the second hour, it should be $16. And for the third hour, it will be $24. If we are going to connect all of these points, we will generate this line. Now note that this line, a straight line, crosses or starts at the origin. So this is also an example of a direct variation. Remember, the graph of direct variation should cross the origin or it should start at the origin. So that's why an employee that earns money at a rate of $8 per hour is an example of a direct variation. And this was the equation that we used before. Salary varies directly as the number of hours. And we said that the constant of variation is S divided by H. Now, traveled, gallons of gas used and miles traveled. The more miles that you're going to travel, the more gas the vehicle is going to consume. So, in this case, if the number of miles traveled increases, then the gas consumption also increases. The food recipe, which is the number of servings and ingredients, the amount of ingredients varies directly as the amount of servings. If you are going to have bigger servings, then expect that you have to use more ingredients. But if you're going to cook only small servings, okay, fewer servings, then expect that the amount of ingredients that you're going to use will also decrease. Let's try to solve this example. A person's payment, P, varies directly as the number of hours work. So how do we write this as a direct variation equation? So varies directly, that is x or equal to k, and the variable before varies directly is p or payment, so we have to write p before the equal sign, and the variable after varies directly is h, write h after the equal sign. Okay, now for working 8 hours, so if h is equal to 8, the pay is equal to $96. Now find the pay if a person worked for 20 hours. So we have to identify first our constant of variation. So how do we find constant of variation? We just need to divide your p by h. So our p here is 96 equal to k. H is equal to 8. So if you divide 8 both sides, you're going to get k is equal to 12. So from here, we can go back to our equation and say my direct variation equation is P equals K, which is 12, times H. We can now use this equation to solve what is being asked. Find the P, the pay, if the person is going to work for 20 hours. So we just replace our H by 20, and we are going to get $240 as the pay if the person is going to work for 20 hours. So when you graph this one, so we have P equals 12H. So this is our pay, for example, and this is the hours. So the slope is 12, so 0, I'll just have to, so that's 12 over 1. The slope is 12 over 1, so we just have to count 12 units up and 1 to the right. Okay, count 12 units up and 1 to the right. So this will be our 2 points, and we know that graph of a direct variation crosses the origin or starts at the origin. It will be this.
Math is a wonderful thing. Math is a really cool thing.